welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video on Eugenia Cooney and why she keeps her eating disorder secret. I did a video a while back talking about her body checking and showing off in videos, and so today I kind of wanted to talk about, you know, another kind of aspect of Eugenia Cooney, and I also kind of wanted to talk about the comments of that video, but we'll take that a little later on. So, you know, I can't really speak for Eugenia. I don't know her personally. I don't know all her things. Obviously, she keeps it a secret, you know, and I think what I wanted to talk about today is just one reason why I think it is very hard for people with eating disorders to be honest about it. So the reason that I think a lot of people with eating disorders, including Eugenia Cooney, thinks it's very hard to be honest about and would rather say that everything is fine, that's just how they are naturally, and that they're not struggling, is because when someone says that they have a problem, people usually assume that they are going to fix that problem. You know, if I had a car and I said, there's so many weird noises coming from my car, people would go, oh, like, she obviously is aware that there's a problem, so she's gonna fix that. But if I just continue to drive that car, people would go, you know, obviously there's something wrong, so why aren't you trying to fix it? But then I might go, well, the car is just, you know, it still does the job for me. I'm happy with the car. I don't really care about those noises that it makes. And then those people might think that I'm stupid because I'm not trying to fix the problem. So instead of letting them know, I'd rather just keep it to myself and like drive when they're not around, you know? I think it's a very hard thing with eating disorders because, you know, when you say that you have an eating disorder or you say that you struggle with eating, a lot of people will want to give you help, and you know, they want to try to say what they think is best for you, and obviously they do that with good intention, but like, not everyone is ready for help. Not everyone is ready to recover, and not everybody wants to, and that can make a lot of people mad. So I think that's a big reason why people who might be struggling don't want to say it out loud, because they're afraid that people will assume that they are going to recover, and when they tell them, I'm not ready yet, they're going to be mad because they think it's stupid. And obviously that is valid, you know, it makes sense to be frustrated that someone that you really look up to or you really like is damaging themselves and they're aware of it and they're not doing anything about it. You know, it's the same as like people who smoke, you know that that's bad for you, so why do you continue to do it? Why are you not trying to stop at least? I think that for Eugenia, you know, she has said a bunch of times that she doesn't have an eating disorder, she's fine, that's just how she looks, but you know, in the Shane documentaries, I am pretty sure she did say she has an eating disorder and she struggles with eating, and you know, she is aware that there is a problem, but sort of like then, everyone expected her to be better, and obviously back in those days she did get a little bit better. Like, you could see she, you know, she obviously didn't recover, but she was putting on a little bit of weight, and you know, because she was 51-50'd. So, you know, she was getting help, but just because someone is getting help, that doesn't mean they're recovering, because like, she can still be in that mindset that like, the second she comes out, she's gonna go back to old habits, because she doesn't want to change. People have to change, or people have to want to change to be able to change, you know? And like I said, that's the thing. A lot of people who struggle with eating disorders, a lot of them don't think that they are sick enough. They don't think they're thin enough. They think that if they say they have an eating disorder, then like, that's, you know, they can't say that because they're not sick or thin enough for people to believe them. Even if they are, like, they just don't feel like they're sick enough. So that's, you know, a thing that makes it very hard for them to want to say it to anybody at all. And last but not least, like, recover. I think I want to read some of the comments from the last Eugenia Cooney video I made. I have read some of these before, but I haven't responded to all of them. So yeah. First one, Psychology 101. You're responsible for your own triggers. The world cannot censor itself, so if someone has an eating disorder and they search Eugenia Cooney, what do they expect to find? And yet somehow Eugenia gets hate for simply living. The same goes to people who self-harm. Others shouldn't have to cover up their scars because it's triggering. True. True. I mean, I don't disagree with this. I think, you know, people are allowed to live, you know, obviously. I think it's just a very different thing to like show off and to simply exist. A lot of people in the ED community, you know, they will see somebody who has recovered from an eating disorder and they will put up a photo of themselves when they had the eating disorder, and it will be a body check photo where they're showing off their bones and everything. And like it might be a photo that at the time they were proud of because of how sick they look, and now that they're recovered they can look back at it and be like, I'm glad I don't look like that anymore. But for the people who are still struggling with an eating disorder, it can be hard to look at that because it triggers you. So it's not necessarily for just existing, but it's for putting out content that is showing off, you know, how sick you are, and people want to compete with that. So yeah, I know, I don't think that it's like necessarily bad. And like you could say like, oh well, I mean, that's just how thin they are, you know, that's just how they look. And I agree, once again, but then again, difference from just showing off your bones to just a photo, you know? Next comment, thanks for touching on the examples of body checking. Poor girl, she doesn't want to change at all. She loves the way she looks and thinks everyone is envious of her. As if all females and some males wish they look like that, I think is what they're trying to say. And yeah, you know, definitely there's a difference from body checking and, you know, like I just said. Yeah, like I said earlier in this video, people have to want to change to be able to change. And Eugenia doesn't really seem to be in that place. She's still doing the same stuff she has been. She hasn't changed. She doesn't seem to be changing. She doesn't seem to want to change. She seems to just be comfortable where she's at. So, next comment, why all the old content? I was watching a bunch of clips at the time of old content, but I was also watching like her newer videos. I just happened to pick out like more of the older content. Not to say that she doesn't body check anymore. She still has like her moments, but I just did a video because I was watching a lot of those clips at the time, and I felt like I couldn't make a video talking about the examples of body checking and showing off versus just existing. Next comment, why is the fingers around the arm a thing with eating disorders, I wonder? I know it's to see how small your extremities are, but does anyone know where that checking mechanism originated or comes from? How did it come about that your arm should fit in your fingers if you're thin enough? Honestly, I have no clue the originalities or where it comes from. I think that, you know, it's just from, or where most people nowadays will get it from is like if you're anywhere on the internet that has like thinspo, there's a bunch of ways to see, you know, if you are small enough, like having a can, like a energy drink can on your thighs to see if like they're as small as the can, or, you know, your fingers around your wrists, your fingers around your upper arm. You know, it's just measurements, I guess. And it's just like, oh, my arm can fit inside my fingers. Like, I think it's just a thing that's just been there for a long time. Nice comment. I mean, she has anorexia, obviously that's gonna happen. I mean, yeah, when people want to show off, then yeah, that's gonna happen. Not everybody wants to show off. People are, you know, people have body dysmorphia, so maybe someone who really wants to be skinny doesn't want to show off, and then that's not gonna happen. Someone else talked about how when she was out of treatment, she gained a bit of weight and she was wearing more baggy clothes, which kind of shows that she was trying to hide herself, you know? Not wanting to show off because she's not, you know, the same, or she doesn't feel like she's at the state where she wants to show off. Another comment is everyone is jumping on the Eugenia Cooney bandwagon. Personally, I think that's such a stupid comment, if I'm allowed to say that. Anybody can talk about anything on YouTube, and personally at the time I was just watching a bunch of Eugenia, and obviously if you're watching something, you know, yeah, maybe you're watching something because at the time a lot of people are making videos on it, but obviously that doesn't mean you're jumping on a bandwagon. It means that, you know, maybe you have something to say about it, you want to state your opinion, and, you know, you're allowed to do that. It's not necessarily just jumping on what's trending. And even if, you know, it is more trending, yeah, people are looking into it and they have something to say. So yeah. Someone also said, but showing off is a form of body checking because context matters. And I responded to this saying, like, you know, there's a small difference, I would say. Showing off is just kind of like being like, hey, look at this. Whereas body checking is kind of more like you are looking at it yourself and being kind of critical at it and kind of wanting people to judge it so that you can kind of hear what people have to say about it, if that makes sense. It's like, it's more critical. I also just want to say thank you to everyone who left nice comments, either about me or whatever I was talking about in the video. I really appreciate it. I think it's super nice of you guys to say all of that. It made me very happy to read through my comments. And yeah, I think, you know, I don't really have that much more to say. The recovery aspect of like why you would keep a eating disorder secret, like because you don't want to recover, I think is a reason that makes a lot of sense. It's a very sad reason, but it makes sense. You don't want to make the people you know angry. Obviously they get frustrated just by you not being honest about it, but it also is just like, if you say that you have a problem, they are probably going to be a bit frustrated at that point too, because they're not going to understand why you're not doing anything about it when you obviously are aware. Obviously, we don't know what people go through. You don't know how someone is doing behind closed doors. So even if she looks like everything is, you know, amazing for her and that she's doing great, you don't know when she's alone in her room, like, how she's feeling. And I think, you know, we shouldn't add fuel to the fire. We should just be nice. I think that's the best thing we can do for her. And for everyone else, honestly, truly. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my video. I'm sorry this is such a late update, and